For the first time this fall, we have the full football experience. High school on Friday, college on Saturday, NFL on Sunday, as Mike Robinson from Game Day Nation joins us now. And Mike Rob, thank you for coming in.
Hey, I appreciate you having me, and I love having football every day of the week.
So let's talk a little more high school football for Big Play Breakdown this evening. As you know, the old saying is, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, and we saw that on Friday night in the Northern Lakes League with Springfield and Southview. Southview won the game, but there are some interesting things happening during the game.
Hey, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't the Big Play Breakdown, so let's show some of those similarities between these two communities. But let's take a look at the film. If you do this to me, I can do it to you. That's scoring touchdowns and scoring points. Springfield has not had a lot of success in that way, but they had some success here and early and often. Let's take a look. It's third down, late in the first quarter, 7 yards to go. Southview on defense, they're locked in. They've been playing football very aggressively, and you can tell right now by the eyes. Even the cornerback got his eyes in the backfield. Corner realizes late, wait, it's a fake. Right over the top of the head from Harris Lloyd to Cameron Tall with a nice catch right there. That is a beautiful situation for Springfield, getting them on the board and knotting this thing up. Anything you can do, we can do better, says Isaac Sexton and company. Tossing it out there deep to the outside with a nice pass out there. A little bit of, maybe a PI. I'm sorry, a little personal foul right there, but you know what? Ref didn't call it. Let's take a look at the coverage. How did this happen? You're looking on the right side of the field, two guys circled. They should be looking like they're playing cover 4, or one guy's in trap playing the flats. But when you get Isaac Sexton getting the ball, you gotta respect them, and that makes things for this to happen. Big guys jumping on the sideline, cheering their guys on, pointing for the end zone, and a nice touchdown score right here for the team. And they're going to continue to do those things all season long. And that's our Big Play Breakdown.
We're now at the midway point of the high school football season. We're entering into week 5. And so I guess it's not that surprising. Teams are going a little deeper into the playbook. You've had some time to get your fundamentals in, so you can maybe start throwing out some different plays, some of those trick plays the last couple of weeks.
Well, the cool thing about that play was they saw them do it, and they said, you know what, let's go get it. I can guarantee you Macy's was the one sitting there drawing that up, saying, they're not going to do that to us, because he's the master of trickeration. So one thing is, you're going to see coaches and teams getting into their bag now that the league's starting to happen, because they want to show these different looks for their opponents, so then now they have to practice for that, because everybody that has to play Springfield or Southview will now be having that in their scout team practice.
So that means this week in White House, Andy Brungard and Anthony Wayne, they're preparing for the Halfback Pass as Southview takes on Anthony Wayne, the two undefeated teams in the Northern Lakes League. Southview scores a lot of points. Yeah. Anthony Wayne doesn't give up a lot of points. What's going to be the deciding factor on Friday in White House?
Defense wins championships, and that's what it's going to be. Southview, they're going to have to find a way to continue to keep this offense flowing. I like their 2-quarterback system. They'll be tried. It'll be a very tough time for them to get some passes over the top, but with Isaac Sexton, they should be okay. But defensively, Anthony Wayne is just very stout. They play really well, and you talk about coaching. Coach Brungard does a fantastic job having his team prepared week in, week out. So for Southview, they're going to have to be on their A game, and for Anthony Wayne, they can't fall to the trick plays.
A great stat that producer Scott Flowers came up with. Anthony Wayne under Andy Brungard, they have over 20 shutouts in his time at Anthony Wayne. And finally, let's talk about the other big game in the track this week as Whittaker hits the road, takes on Finlay. As the Trojans 1-3 on the season, we know the talent is there, it just hasn't quite come together. Whittaker, they're starting to get things figured out as well after a dominating win over St. Francis.
It was a big win over St. Francis, but you know what? You kind of got to look at it and say they're missing their running back over there at St. Francis. They're a wounded duck, but they did come out there and handle business as they're supposed to. So this week, you're looking at Finlay. Finlay is the Trojan horse that we think they are. People putting them into a bag and saying they're 1-3, they're not a good football team. They put up 17 points on Central Catholic, and then they did it in an impressive way. So you can't fall asleep on what Montgomery can do. When Central Catholic went man-to-man, he threw the ball in perfect spots to get it to his receivers. They're one or two plays away from staying in the game, threw a couple interceptions. So for Whittaker, this is going to be their biggest test, and for Finlay, they need this game here to stay in contention for a nice spot in the playoffs.
All right, thank you very much, Mike Robinson. Of course, you can catch him every Friday night. It's Game Day Nation. Now, this coming Friday, Game Day Nation tailgate, they'll hit the road once again as they will be down in Finlay for that big matchup in the track between the Trojans against the Whitmer Panthers. So join us Friday night, 6:30 for Game Day Nation at tailgate from Finlay. And then, of course, Game Day Nation begins at 7 o'clock. Mike Robb, Mike Jewell, and Anthony Bellino here in studio as we're bouncing between all of the high school football games in the area this Friday night. You take a look at those games, some interesting matchups that we just talked about. We'll also have Start looking for win number 1 taking on Bellevue. A little Northern Buckeye Conference action with Rossford at home this week. Also head to the TAC for Gibsonburg. And then join us at overtime, 10:30 Friday nights right here on BCSN exclusively on Buckeye Broadband.